ex broke up with me a few days ago and is unwilling to speak with me, but he watches everything I post on social media. Why? When we're dealing with emotions and human nature, a lot of it doesn't add up. You cannot put a logical spin on why people do what they do. I mean, you can study psychology to get an answer, but just because you understand why somebody does something doesn't mean it's going to make you feel any better. The clues will be in his history, his family dynamics, his past dating relationships. I'm sure he talked about his ex-girlfriends while you were together. So that should give you some insight, because probably the same reasons he broke up with them were the same reason he broke up with you. And if you're asking, well, why is he internet stalking you? It's just because he is not connected to his feelings. In his mind, most likely he's in conflict between his head and his heart. In his head, for example, if he did a pros and cons list of you, the pros may far outweigh the cons. But it might be things such as, she's nice, she smells nice, she's intelligent, she's cute, she's fun to be with. You're thinking, okay, if I have all these things that he's looking for, then what's his issue? Well, that's the thing, because what he thinks he should want doesn't match up with what he's programmed to want. You've heard of nature versus nurture. You have to look at how he was raised, what his friends are like. Do they exhibit the same habits that he does? You know, maybe there's peer pressure to break up with you. Maybe his parents said something. You have no idea. But the thing is, if you keep on dwelling on it, you just could drive yourself crazy, because we just don't know why people do what they do. And I know this sounds silly because he broke up with you, but he still cares about you, but not in a way that's going to make a healthy relationship for the two of you. And I know that one of the reasons that I joined Facebook, I like to keep up with what all my friends since elementary school are up to, but I don't really want to engage with them. If I had to call, I'd be like, nah, that's okay. I just don't want to do that. But I still care enough, or interested enough to follow them on Facebook. And sometimes I comment, sometimes I don't. He still cares about you. He's still interested, but it's something at a deeper level, which he probably doesn't even understand about himself. And that's most likely why he's still looking at your social media. He's just confused. You can't fix that. Nobody can. I would encourage you to Google Alison Armstrong. She has one of the best explanations of why men think the way that they do at different points in their life and at different levels. And even though while they might be the same age as their significant other, they're not in the same emotional space. And while no matter how much a woman may want a relationship, if it's the wrong time in the man's life, subconsciously, it's just not going to happen. Also, there's famous books from a long time ago, like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It's just like men don't understand women, women don't understand men. It's best to learn early that what people think they want and what they actually do want at the deepest level are two different things. And that's why divorce is so high. Times are just a lot more complicated. They move a lot more quickly than they did. My parents, who are from the silent generation, they're in their early 80s. It was very simple. There was no distractions. You met somebody in your social group, you dated them, then you married them, and that was that. That all changed with the baby boom generation, the boomers, which started after World War II, so around 1946 up until early 1960s. When the boomers became teenagers, a lot of things changed. Mating for life was no longer a thing. People went with what they wanted to do versus what was considered the right thing to do. So as the generations go on, you have so many kids that are from divorced families, and then with technology, social media, everything moving so quickly, it's just so confusing. Throw in the coronavirus, the first real pandemic in the last 100 years. Add the BLM movement to it, and there's just a lot of confusion going on. People don't know what they stand for. They don't know who they are. They're trying to figure things out. You know, this generation where not even having their high school prom or a real high school graduation, didn't get to play their spring season of sports. But the number one thing to do is not to put it onto you. Don't worry about the things you can't control, because you can't control them. And don't worry about the things you can control, because you can control them. And what your ex does is nothing that you can control. I would just focus on yourself and focus on what brings you joy, on finding somebody that knows what they want, and have empathy for him, because he just doesn't know what he wants. And feel free to reach out to me directly at andrew@askasalesrecruiter.com if you have any additional questions, or you can leave them on Quora or on my YouTube channel. Thanks again.